According to The Athletic, these players were voted by other players as being overrated. Number one, Trae Young. Overrated? Yes or no?
No, not overrated.
Properly rated.
I think he's a bit overrated.
Overrated because to John's point, you're not building a contender around him.
Julius Randle.
Not overrated. I feel like people
Properly
are
rated.
Yes, I agree. That's
Properly
said.
rated. Yeah. He's an all NBA type talent, but I don't think almost like Trae Young, he's probably not going to be the best player in championship. He's not going to be the best player in championship.
Let me ask you,
but he could be individually really great.
I feel like he's more disrespected than he is praised, so I don't understand how he could be overrated.
I would say
in the playoffs.
I would say Julius is underrated.
Until Randle plays well in the playoffs, he's overrated.
Coming from you.
My
He gets a lot of
goodness.
disrespect.
That's rich coming from you, John.
Until Randle plays well in the playoffs, overrated. Pascal Siakam.
Overrated. I hate to say it, but there's a little bit of empty calories to his production.
That's also because the lack of depth on the Raptors. I don't know, man. I'm not going to say overrated. Pascal's not.
I don't think he's overrated. John,
he's properly rated.
How is he overrated? Like, how do people?
So
I
if
feel
you're
like people
judging him as what he is right now in Toronto, and like, oh, he's a top 15, top 20 player, I would say he's probably like top 30. But when he was number 2 off of Kawhi, I would say he was closer to underrated back then. It's just like when he's cast as number 1, that's the expectation. Then he's overrated.
There was more unknown for him. He was younger. The potential you could see with his frame and body,
Who would you rather have, Jaren Jackson or Pascal?
Oh, Jaren Jackson. He raises my ceiling so much higher defensively. And on offense, he's really come along with his floaters and the shot's kind of there. So
me and Joel were having this conversation on the playback. It definitely is one that I'm willing to hear. Jaren Jackson's definitely improved vastly this season.
Next one, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler made this list. Is he overrated?
Absolutely not.
No, he's underrated, bro.
I think he's underrated.
He's probably rated. Maybe overrated for the regular season, but when it comes to playoff time and he's got to step up more times than not, he's doing his thing.
What do we remember?
Rudy Gobert.
Overrated.
Overrated.
Trade 5 first-round picks to the guy and just.
What Rudy Gobert are we talking about, though? We talking about the one this year in Minnesota or the one for 9 years?
Come on.
I'd say the one for 9 years in Utah was underrated, but this one is, not worth the value that people thought.
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Definitely not overrated.
Properly
I feel like
properly rated.
I've been giving him a lot of respect and acknowledgement as for his progression this season, offensively specifically. So I'm going to definitely say properly rated.
Yeah, I think he's been underrated. I think there's another level to his game that he can reach that people are kind of sleeping on right now. RJ Barrett. Overrated.
I don't think he's not overrated anymore. Everyone knows
rated.
What RJ
He's not deserving to be on here right now.
He's properly rated.
Liability on offense, and if he's not giving you great defense, there's no reason for him to be on the court.
Dylan Brooks.
Oh my God.
I'm going underrated.
Dylan Brooks is an underrated player.
People hate him because of his antics, and they ignore his fantastic elite defense.
His offense, all right. Let me break this down. His offense is bad.
It stinks.
It's not good.
Shot selection
is great. So I feel like with that, yes, people are more rude to him than he deserves, but his offense is so bad that it allows me not to feel that strongly. So I'm just gonna meet myself in the middle, properly rated.
Draymond Green.
Underrated big time.
He's underrated.
Underrated or properly rated? Definitely not overrated.
Damian Lillard.
He's not underrated, overrated. He's properly rated. We know what
he's properly rated.
Great talent on a terrible team.
Stop it. You've turned into a Dame hater.
Where are we rating Dame though? Do you guys think he can be the best player on the championship team?
Top 5 guard.
Yeah, he could be a 1A.
If you think Dame can be the best player on the championship team, you are overrating him.
You sure about that?
If he's a 1A, 1B with
yes.
good role players around him, like
if he's the best player, he cannot be the best player on the championship team.
I'm going to be honest. I've come to that conclusion as well. I've been persuaded into that belief. I don't think he can be. I think he needs to be paired. He needs to be paired with a dog to be able to win a championship.
I think a 1B I think is valid.
And the last two, But go, John, and then we'll go to the
As
last
Vimp said in the chat, we should be considering contracts in this too.
I think that's fair. And Dame has a super max.
Like Minnesota is the reason I think Gobert's overrated. If they traded a first round pick and you know what I mean, 2 first round picks, be like, okay, that's fine. But they traded 5.
The last 2, Chris Paul. Given his contract, it's easily overrated.
His contract is partially guaranteed, though.
But I think most people think that. I think most people know Chris Paul right now is cooked. He's a shell of himself.
I'm going to say properly rated. I still think that he does his job very well in terms of playmaking. And obviously can have those moments where he can give you some scoring when you need it. I'm going to go properly rated.
I think CP is underrated. I mean, historically, the fact he's 38 years old in a couple of weeks and he's doing this shit, I think he's a little bit underrated.
Once he turns 38 or whatever, he just drop off.
Don't forget, you were hating on him. You were hating on him, and he put you to bed.
Bro did a 180 in an hour.
Sleep.
Now, last one, Austin Reeves.
You're talking to me, so I believe that he is properly rated at this point in time. Because now, with the way that people have decided to talk about Austin Reeves, which I've been trying to let everyone know for a while now, people are starting to overrate him, but I will not do so. So for me personally, I say he is properly rated. I wouldn't say he's underrated because there's a lot of hype beasts, a lot of them. He's was underrated a month ago. He was underrated a month ago. As of today, there is a lot of conversation that even I would not go that far.
I think he's properly rated.
He's the most popular overrated player right now. Like for people to overrate him, he is the guy people are overrating right now. But I think if you know ball and you understand his role on this Lakers team, if he's able to have those moments of excellence like game 1 and take over in the 4th quarter and give you solid defense, you can't ask for anything more.
It's like we were in the playback and someone said that they would take Austin Reeves over Desmond Bane. I said you lost.
Jason Kempf, is that his last name on the volume? Had Desmond Bane over Austin Reeves. I was like, I know you know ball. Like, can we please not do this?
Yeah. I'm a big Austin Reeves guy. That's when we overrate him. We're putting above Desmond Bane, but I think he's proper.
That's nuts.
Now on to most underrated players in the NBA. This is the list right here. So Drew Holiday is number 1. SGA is 2. Mikal Bridges is 3rd. Jalen Brunson 4. And Jaden McDaniels 5. Dehls.
And Derek White and Jaylen Brown. 6
You
and 7.
were sleeping on Jaden McDaniels, man, my friend. You were sleeping on McDaniels. But now the NBA player world has spoken and said you're wrong.
If sleeping on Jaden McDaniels means that I don't know if he's going to be as great as Jaylen Brown, then yeah, you're on this level.
Was Jaylen Brown on this list?
He was 6, 7.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the graphic. My screen kind of lagged a little bit. Deservedly so, because a lot of people were disrespecting my brother Jaylen Brown coming into the season. He's absolutely put a lot of you guys to bed. Drew Holiday, I think that's fair, underrated, because he's very quiet to himself, just plays basketball, is great at it, absolutely. So I feel like that's the acknowledgement he deserves.
Now we're going to do the same game. Drew Holiday, is he underrated?
Yes, he is underrated. I do strongly believe so.
But the NBA players also said he's the best defender in the league. So I feel like he's probably properly rated right now, according to the NBA players.
I think they did that in more so to highlight how great of a basketball player. Correct. Mm-hmm. And then with that fact, now they emphasize it by saying, hey, start talking and acknowledging about Drew Holiday. He was crucial to the Bucks winning a championship. It wasn't a Giannis carrying. Drew Holiday was absolutely imperative to being on that team for them to have the playoff success.
I remember seeing an interview of Isaiah Thomas with Ball Don't Stop, and he said that Drew Holiday, if he had his own team, can average 25 and 8 a game if he wanted to. So I think
25-win team.
NBA players are very high on Drew. I think that Drew, though, is properly rated.
He's the definition of properly rated. I mean, when was the last time he shot above 40% in the playoffs? Like, I love Drew Holiday. He's a great player, but I mean, I think some people tend to talk about how underrated he is when it's like the guy's like in the playoffs oftentimes not that reliable for the Bucks. I think he's
How
probably
often
underrated.
do you hear people praise Drew Holiday though?
All I hear is how he's underrated, but like he's always shooting 38%. He had a great game today. He was 10 of 19, but I just think he's a really inconsistent shot maker, and that was the whole reason they brought him in, to find a more reliable shot maker and defender than Eric Gordon.
I
Like,
was going
he's
to say
like
more so
Mr.
the
38%, I feel like, in the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
For as good of a defender and playmaker as he can be.
That makes
Great
sense.
regular season player, but in the playoffs is where he really takes a huge
I
dip.
don't know.
in his
He was
efficiency.
really
Huge dip.
he was really solid in that playoff run, specifically in the finals with the job that he did on Chris Paul.
Yeah, he shot 40% in that run.
No, he wasn't efficient. I'm not going to say he was the most efficient, but defensively, I think that's why you brought him in, because defensively he can lock up any player that you put him opposite of.
Your dog has me fucking dead.
Yeah, no, she's having the time of her life back there.
I think your
So-
dog would say underrated for Drew
She
Holiday.
would. She
So
would. She's
next
smart.
name, SGA.
He's
I
I
think
think
at this
properly
point in
rated
time,
at this point.
correct.
He's
I
properly
think
rated.
It's
Yeah,
universally
he's going to be
accepted
all NBA
that-
first or second team.
I'm with
Mc-
that.
Mikal Bridges. His son's version underrated. I
He's
think
been
Brooklyn,
underrated for a while.
He's properly rated.
underrated.
And I
Mhm.
think you're underrating Mikal if you think what he's doing in Brooklyn is a fluke, because what he's doing is actually his game, and he's capable of this.
Let me ask you a question though. People are comparing it to James Harden. Is that at a point now we talk about
That's
overrated?
that's out of pocket. He's not that.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
that's where-
he's
that-
responsible.
That's the reason why I'm teetering on this one. That I'm gonna say properly rated just for the sake of argument. Let's not go too deep into it. But when people start to mention, hey, now he gets his own team. Hey, maybe we see a James Harden type ascension. That's when you start to lose me.
Ant's got 39 right now. I think you picked his over points, right, Joel?
Yeah.
He's
23 and a
attacking.
half
That's a
was
lot.
He's
easy enough.
attacking,
That
man.
was
He's
a
attacking.
lock
That's a lock.
of all locks.
Now, next one, Jalen Brunson. I think this season has properly rated him.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
To your credit, Joel, before the season, underrated. But now that we see what he's doing in New York, should have borderline All-Star. You can make an argument. Borderline All-NBA guard is obviously loaded, but he's been great this year.
Jaden McDaniels.
Underrated.
Underrated. That's one
He's
I can definitely
underrated.
get behind.
Underrated for sure. Derek White.
Very
Um,
underrated.
I still think
Yeah.
I think because there's so much more highlighted on Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Rob Will, that the lone forgotten, and Malcolm Brogdon, who's going to win Sixth Man of the Year, everyone's getting their love and praise except Derek White, who probably will be or should be defensive team. But regardless, this guy has been he has vastly improved from last season to this season, and not many people acknowledge that and give him the respect to the point where
Yeah, people.
you're having. Go ahead, Joe.
Sorry. I was just going to say last season, people were shitting on the Derek White trade because he came in, struggled. The playoffs, he averaged like 8 points on disgustingly bad efficiency, that is. And now coming into this year was kind of like hands up in the air. We really don't know what we're going to get out of Derek White, so he's probably underrated. Now we see he plays all 82 games, one of 10 players, I believe, like Drew mentioned, probably going to be on all defensive team. And is right now, arguably the best player so far in these first 2 games against the Hawks. So I don't think anyone was expecting this sort of offensive output. So right now, I think you'd say he's underrated.
He's improved so much this season. Like the confidence level for him is taking a full step forward, and that was the one thing that he kind of lacked last year.
He's making
Now-
pull-up threes, bro. I was like, what the fuck?
I
He's
think
always had
Derek
this in him,
White.
bro. He always had it in him.
Derek White has been getting a lot of attention recently, so I'll say he's properly rated right now. But I understand why you say he's underrated. Now, next one is Jaylen Brown. The only way you can underrate him is if you think he's capable of being a championship player, and you're not saying he is.
He's properly rated. I think we kind of have an idea.
He's
I think he could
gotten properly rated. He was wildly underrated prior to this season and last.
Next one is Anthony Edwards.
Properly rated, in my opinion.
Properly
Yeah,
rated.
probably.
I think that it's understood that he's an ascending superstar, and
He's got
he
40
has
right now.
he has the capabilities to be one day a top 5 player in the NBA. In my opinion, I know Joel obviously is one of the biggest Ant-Man supporters you'll ever see, but we share similar beliefs that Anthony Edwards can be a superstar and is already on that way.
And now the last name, DeJounte Murray.
Overrated.
Oof.
He's definitely not underrated. I don't think you could say he's underrated right now.
I'm gonna say properly rated for me individually. I feel like he is not. I don't feel like people talk about DeJounte Murray like he is one of the best guards in the game, but I feel like people don't recognize him as bad. He's not flat out bad. No one does that except for Joel preseason. So I think he's properly rated.
Well, this is my take. I think last year's Spurs season overrated him to a lot of people.
Okay.
This year in Atlanta has brought everything down to earth, and now he's properly rated again.
He's also making $16 million a year. So if you factor that in, I would say he's probably rated.
Yeah,
well, he's about to get a big contract.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Seattle
close to 30.
And now last two ones,
26.
best and worst coach. So best coach, number one, players still want to play for Greg Popovich. Then it's Steve Kerr. Then it's Eric Spoelstra.
Where's Tom Thibodeau?
The top two don't surprise me. I think we could all agree, right?
No, they don't. I'm surprised to see Pop here just because of his success in recent years, but I understand it's a respect factor.
Yeah. Or top three. I didn't see Spoelstra either.
Darvin Ham, 2% of the vote.
Yeah, who did that? It had to be every member of the Lakers.
Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, that's something.
And now this is worst coaches. Number one is Tom Thibodeau.
Oh my God.
By a landslide. Oh my God.
I mean, how this is disrespectful. He's above Steven Silas.
Yeah, that's nuts. How
all right, guys,
what
I
the
have to
Knicks
let
did
you
this
know.
year is crazy
I had a couple
to
of
put him
votes
number
for this.
one.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh my
Tom
God, that's
Thibodeau.
disrespectful.
My goodness. So right now I'm with a dilemma because I know the Nuggets won this game, but I have a meme going. This is with Jamal Murray's face. Spirit bomb.
Spirit bomb.
Yeah. But I made one with Anthony Edwards as well.
Real
did his
talk,
thing, but
what the fuck was Tom Thibodeau thinking, leaving Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle a 25-point blowout?
Yo, my dad
Missoula did that too against the Hawks.
That was the
bro.
stupidest shit I've ever seen.
Like, what are we
My
doing?
dad was ripping Thibodeau. He's like, he should be fined. That's how angry he was. He's like, yeah, fine Thibodeau for that.
Is your dad a Knicks fan?
No, my dad is just a basketball fan.
Jamal Murray went for 40 points tonight.
He's back.
Anthony Edwards went for 42 though.
He's underrated.
He's underrated, yeah, for sure. Jamal Murray is my guy. He is my guy.
Oh my God.
Dehls, you wasn't there. You wasn't there in the trenches.
You said all-time player performer.
You wasn't there in the trenches back when Jamal.
You did say all-time player performer, and then you swear down that you didn't.
No, I did. At the time in the bubble, for sure I did. I mean, me and Riff had heated debates about Jamal Murray.